My father was a really hard worker, but not really easy to get close to. Okay, and so my mother phoned me when my father was in his 60s, and here's the story she had to tell: that my father had to go to the very famous Cleveland Clinic. It's one of the four biggest health and medical networks in the United States, along with the Mayo Clinic and Johns Hopkins. But they got the appointment wrong, so my sister, who's the oldest in the family, was taking him in, driving. And they got there 2 hours early. And so they had to do something for the 2 hours before the appointment was. And Cleveland has right in the same area where the Cleveland Clinic is, they have a marvelous art museum. This is the first time, and you have to remember he's in his early 60s, this is the first time in my life that he had ever been in an art gallery. And so they came in the front door, and my sister said, look, if you don't want to wander too much, you can just be right here, and I'm just going to look around. And she went away for about an hour, and she found my father, and he was sitting on a bench, and she came up to him, and he was just sobbing, which was kind of shocking to my sister, because we had never seen him cry. So she sat down and she put her arm around him, and she says, "Dad, what's the matter?" And he said, "To think that all those years I was working night and day, and all these beautiful things were here, and I didn't know about them." My sister was just thrown off balance by this. I mean, she had never talked to my father like this. And they left, and they went to the appointment for the hospital at the Cleveland Clinic, and then she drove him back home, and he was really quiet. He was just totally quiet. And my father was kind of chatty. I mean, he was a very good salesperson, but just about surface stuff. He would never talk about anything emotional. And then she got home, and and he was really tired, and he went to bed. And next morning, my mother called my sister, and she said that she had to call an ambulance during the middle of the night. And because he had a complete nervous breakdown, he was shouting and acting, just in a very, very erratic way. And my mother would know. And so he was picked up by a hospital and taken to a nearby mental institution. The prediction was that he was just over the cliff. He wasn't going to come back. And then about the fifth week, he called and he says, "Okay, I'm over it. You can come and get me now." And he came back home, and from that moment to the day he died, so this would be another 20 years, he was the warmest and most affectionate person that you can imagine. And it's very, very interesting. Wanted to talk about experiences, and wanted to talk about what he had learned, and he took a great interest in everybody else. And he went in one person, and he came back out another person. I've often talked about how strong he was physically, but it takes a really extraordinarily strong character and a strong sense of who you are to go through that type of very, very rapid transformation. A terrific lesson to me to leave a lot of room for people to transform. There's reasons why they are the way they are, and if those reasons are no longer useful to them, they can switch to something that's a real improvement, and that was certainly the case with my father. For the entrepreneurs, this is why we have the time system in Strategic Coach. This is why we have the focus on unique ability in Strategic Coach, so that you don't use up your life on activity, but you use up your life on the most intelligent and the most profitable activities. Just focusing yourself on the right activities with the right people in the right situations and at the right time. But that's not a quantity life, that's a quality life. And that's what I think my father switched from. He switched from the quantity of work he was doing, and I think afterwards he got rewarded for the quality of work that he was doing.